Camp kicked the last few games. The Rattlers have had 6 different kickers over the last few seasons, but Sendejas hopes to be that guy, and he kicks this one away, and we are off and running here from downtown Phoenix, and he kicks it through the uprights, which will be a touchback to get things started for Tampa Bay, the Tampa Bay Storm. As mentioned, 0-2 to start the season. Head coach Lawrence Samuels, a Hall of Famer in the Arena League, coaches this Storm team. They are 5-time AFL champion, and stepping in at quarterback, who was just signed on Thursday of this week, is Jason Boltis, who was the leader of this team last season.
Again, new faces. How are they going to adapt? Not a whole lot of work with his teammates.
So 14:40 left here in the first quarter. We're underway. Boltis is back to throw over the center of the field and knocked away at the last moment. Bubba Chapman knocks the ball away from Philip Barnett, and it'll be second down in.
Very first play of the game, Damian Burrell, the defensive end for the Rattlers, gets pressure, hits Boltis just as he's getting rid of the football. Nicely thrown ball. That's one that I think he's going to hang on more times than he's going to drop.
Bubba Chapman has been on and off with this Rattlers team. He wasn't with the team last year. They brought him back, and he's coming and filling some big shoes. Jeremy Kellum not with the team anymore, and that's a good start right there to this game. And on the quick throw out, the ball's going to be low and incomplete, intended for Barnett once again. It's going to bring up third down.
Those are the throws in this league you've got to complete. Little hitch routes. You catch the ball, you make a guy miss, you can go for a home run, but at least you're going to gain some positive yards. That's an easy throw and catch. And to see that miscue, not a good omen for this Tampa Bay team.
So it'll be third down and 10, 13 and a half minutes left here in the opening quarter from downtown Phoenix. It's the Storm and the Rattlers in game number 3 on the year. Boltis has a man in high motion to his right. He's back to throw in the pocket, feeling some pressure. He's going to air it out. It's a little bit underthrown, and it's knocked away once again by Bubba Chapman. 2 pass breakups on this drive, and now a 4th down and 10 on the first drive of the game for Tampa Bay.
Going for the home run. Pretty nicely thrown ball to Young down the field. Officials allowing a little contact. They could have just as easily called a little bumping on Alan Bubba Chapman there, but they let him play football.
And one of the things you will not see very often in arena football, the punt team, or field goal team I should say, is going to go out and try to kick a long one here. Neither team so far this season has converted a field goal, and this is about as long as you'll kick one here in this league, back just in case Keith Brown can return this one off the nets if it doesn't go through the uprights.
Remember, the ball's got to come off low. This could be very easily blocked.
So the snap and the kick is going to go out of bounds and no good, and it'll be a turnover on downs for the Tampa Bay Storm. A defensive statement for the Rattlers on that opening drive. We'll take a break. That's Dale Hellestray. I'm Jared Cohen. The Rattlers go on offense for the first time in this game after a short break.
At the 20-yard line, first down, Arizona. Media timeout.
Ninth man, it's time to march down to Lucky Rattlers fans to the best seats in the house in tonight's Able Funeral Services seat upgrade. Please welcome the Rat Pack as they upgrade Cindy and Lance to sweet seats in section 102, row 2. Streets of New York pizza delivery. Please welcome Stryker and the Rat Pack as they deliver delicious Streets of New York pizza to the Lucky Rattlers fans seated in section 114, row 11. Congratulations and enjoy your
over at quarterback once again for the Arizona Rattlers.
Going back to that last play for Tampa Bay, really a smart play on their part. They had no intention of trying to make that field goal, kick it into the stands, and make Arizona start from their own 20-yard line.
And that's where they are with Chase DeAtter in high motion to the left. Davila back to throw. Center of the field finds DeAtter into Storm territory at about the 15-yard line before he's driven into the boards and up for a first down. And how about this? Through the first 2 games, Dale, the Rattlers and Nick Davila has almost thrown as many touchdowns as he has incompletions. 12 incompletions through 2 games and 10 touchdowns.
Completing over 70% of his passes, just on fire to start this season.
Trips to the left with Kerry Reed in high motion. They screen it out to DeAtter, and he's driven down inside the 10-yard line at about the 7-yard line where it'll be second. And about the goal line is where they need to go for the first down, maybe a little bit before that. They're about 3 yards short.
You look at the start to Davila's season, give a lot of credit to that offensive line. All new guys, some veteran guys, but when you give Nick time to throw the football, he's going to have success.
Windsor in high motion with trips to the right. Davila back to throw. Plenty of time to do it. Now he's feeling some pressure, eludes it, but throws the ball away. And as he throws away, he's driven down by 2 guys. And that's a coverage sack right there. Good job by Tampa Bay in the back end. Davila had nowhere to throw it.
Nowhere to go with the football. And remember, the closer you get to the goal line, the field shrinks. And defense does not have to cover as much territory as they do out in the open field. Those windows become very, very small to try to fit the football into.
And the interesting thing on that note, I've always thought with Arena League, it's 8 yards deep in the end zone, not 10. So it makes it that much harder once you get to this end of the field. And Tampa Bay felt the brunt of that last week as they had a chance to win the game in the final seconds and threw an interception. Davila back to throw. Again in the pocket, middle of the field, caught, touchdown, Rattlers, Rod Windsor. There's a flag on the play.
Going to be interesting. I think they might get Windsor for a push-off.
We'll go down to the field.
Pass interference, number 1. Offense. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Still 3rd down.
And that is the call, Dale Hellestray, as they call an offensive pass interference on Rod Windsor to negate the touchdown.
He was working on Cortez Stubbs, the defensive back, and I glanced down there. I see number 21 for Tampa Bay stumbling backwards and 2 flags. Usually if it's 1 flag, you can kind of maybe argue your case a little bit. When both officials throw flags, it's pretty apparent you did something.
No question. And those officials aren't looking in one place, so you know that they're looking 2 different places and found the same thing. So that moves him back to about the 20. Davila steps to the left, airs it out. There's Rod Windsor for a touchdown. And the Rattlers are on the board first with 9:44 left here in the first quarter.
Well, I know some of the fans and the coaching staff was fairly confident, but a good start to this game for the Arizona Rattlers. You just wonder where their mental part of the game was going to be after the start that they've had this season, maybe having a chance to overlook Tampa Bay. They come out, start strong defensively, give their offense good field position, and then offense pays it off.
Alex Zendejas, Shane Boyd with the hold, Zendejas with the kick, was 9 of 10 on extra points last week. And this kick is off the mark. It hits the upright, no good. So with 9:07 left here in the first quarter, the Rattlers on top of the Tampa Bay Storm, 6-0, and Tampa Bay will return to offense when we return.
That's right, Ninth Man. It's time to pump things up in tonight's EOS Fitness Flex Camp. And bring it, Ninth Man. You're competing for a 1-year gold membership. So let's see that flex. There you go. You got to pose for it. But if you do it, there you go. There's our winner. A 1-year gold membership from EOS Fitness on tonight's EOS Fitness Flex Cam.
Hey, Knife Man, time to rise for your Rattlers.
Knife Man!
We've got 9:07 left here in the first quarter. Jared Cohen and Dale Hellestray from downtown Phoenix. The Rattlers strike first, up 6-0 on Tampa Bay, here to get things started. And Dale, Alex Zendejas, I talked to Coach about Zendejas this week, seeing, how mentally strong he is as a player, because he had some tough times in college and he's worked his way back into the professional ranks here with the Rattlers. And he said his ability to bounce back is what he's been most impressed with when he's had some of the down moments just in his time with the Rattlers thus far.
He's missed some extra points here early in the football season, and Coach Guy pointed that out, but he said a lot of that had to do with the snap and the operation.
Kick is away, it's off the nets, and there's Maurice Purify making the tackle on special teams. On the return right there was Gerald Young, and he's a little bit slow to get up.
The one thing Coach Guy did want to stress, he said, hey, our kickoff team is playing as well as they ever have since he's been here with the Rattlers, and he gives Zendejas a lot of credit for his kickoffs. I think that's why he's being patient with the missed extra points, but you're also working in a new snapper, a new holder. All those things take a little bit of time.
So Gerald Young, after that play, comes up a little gimpy on his right foot, right leg, and he's helped off the field. He's a playmaker for this Tampa Bay Storm team, one of their top receivers as well. But it's Jason Boltis, 98 touchdowns last season, throwing over 5,000 yards, had a very good year for Tampa Bay, and they brought him back this week to try to pick up the pieces for the slow start at the quarterback position. Couldn't get anything going on that first drive, and he's drilled hard to the deck. That pass was incomplete, and it looked like it was Damian Burrell that came in hard and knocked him down from the blind side.
It seems like they're just having their way with the offensive line of Tampa Bay, and you're right, Burrell, that's the second time he's gotten to Boltis this early in the football game.
Still have not been able to move the chains as we have 8:27 left here in the first quarter. Rattlers on top 6-0. It'll be 2 to the left, 1 to the right of Boltis with T.T. Tolliver in motion. Back to throw Boltis, flag in the play, finds Tolliver in the center of the field, down at midfield. Taken down by Arkeith Brown, but we'll see what the flag is.
Looks like it might be one of those illegal defenses against Arizona.
Number 70, the fullback, was encroaching on the second neutral zone. Half the distance to the goal, still second down.
So that brings back the first big play of the game for Tampa Bay as Shelton, the fullback, is called for an illegal motion.
Really interesting, trying to see how this Tampa Bay offense is going to get on track. They complete a pass, they pick up a first down, and they find out they can't even line up right offensively.
Those are the types of mistakes that hurt you when you're on the road. And the Rattlers right now in a position where they can go 2 straight possessions without Tampa Bay getting a first down. Right now it's 2nd and 15 here with 7:50 left in the first quarter. Boltis going to air this one out to Tolliver. Overthrown and goes hard into the boards. Chapman was there in coverage. And that'll bring up 3rd and 15.
I think Boltis is wondering, hey, Coach, maybe you should have brought me in next week. He's hit on every pass play so far, and he's dinged up right now holding that right arm of his, and you just wonder how much beating can number 16 take for Tampa Bay.
The offensive line getting dominated at the line of scrimmage so far. This defensive line of Burrell, Vasquez, and Tyson with Glasper running at the linebacker position has been tough. Boltis feeling the pressure in the end zone. Is going to air it out and knocked away again by Allen Bubba Chapman. His 3rd pass breakup of the game. And that brings up 4th down. And guess what? Boltis on the ground again.
That time was Tyree Glasper. And the defensive line, they just kind of feed off of each other. And one guy gets back there, and another guy wants to join them. And it seems like everybody has had their turn with a shot on Jason Boltis here in the first quarter.
And once again, they'll bring out Craig Peterson to set up for a long field goal. Arkeith Brown is back at the other end zone in case he can receive it. Last time they just kicked it out of bounds. We'll see if they do something similar this time around. They're kicking from the exact same spot. Snap is down, the kick is up, and this one is going to be received by Arkeith Brown. Let's see if he can make a play. He receives it, crosses the 10-yard line, the 15, stiff arms a player, and then driven down at about the 16-yard line, where the Rattlers will take over 1st and 10. But the defense making their presence felt here early, Dale.
You got to give a lot of credit to that offensive line for Tampa Bay. Not only do you have to block so it doesn't get blocked, but then you have to get down there and cover. And those guys are 300, 310, 320 pounds. Their bodies aren't made to run 40 yards and make a tackle.
And they were able to do it because Arkeith Brown, he's been known to make plays in his time here in Arizona. And they didn't let him even pass the 20. 1st and 10, Rattlers from their own 17-yard line. Deatter, the high motion man to the left. Davila, he's going to air it out. He's looking at Purify, and it's incomplete. Good coverage down the field right there by 21 Cortez Stubbs, and it'll bring up 2nd down.
Well, what I like about that, there was contact down the field. Purify not really complaining too much. The bench for Arizona complaining a little bit. But if you're going to let them play, let both sides play and be consistent, because these athletes can go ahead and adjust to a more physical game. Just don't change up the way you're calling contact down the field.
2nd down and 10, 5:13 left here in the first quarter. 2 to the left. It's going to be trips to the left with Windsor in high motion. There's a flag on the play. It might be a free play. He gets it over to Windsor, enough for a 1st down as they get into Tampa Bay territory. And I think that is going to be on Tampa Bay. They budged a little bit early before the snap.
You have to have your hand on the ground if you're a defensive lineman in arena football.
Number 99, defense out of his stance before the snap. That penalty is declined. Result of the play, 1st down.
That's David Washington, who jumped the gun a little quick, but that's a declined penalty and a 1st down for Rod Windsor. His 2nd catch of the game. The first was a touchdown. And with just under 5 minutes left here in the first quarter, it's a fresh set of downs, 1st and 10 for Arizona. Deatter again in high motion. Davila throws a strike to Purify. Enough for a 1st down. He's still on his feet, takes a hit, dives forward to almost the 5-yard line. Great effort right there for Maurice Purify. His first catch in his 2nd tenure now with the Arizona Rattlers.
The things that I always loved about Purify was his physicality. He was not okay with just making the catch. He's going to try and gain yards. He takes a couple big hits, keeps those legs churning. He brings an excitement and a playmaking ability to this offense that they didn't have last year when he was not a part of the team.
Yeah, he won an Arena Bowl with San Jose in his first year away from the Rattlers. It was kind of a rocky breakup, but he's back with the team, and he's making plays. This is his first game in action. Davila slips away from pressure, and he'll slide down close to the line of scrimmage, but a blocking breakdown right there by the offensive line for Arizona.
Really nice spin move by James McClinton, number 94 for Tampa Bay. Gets pressure right in Davila's face, and that's what quarterbacks don't want. They like to be able to step up in that pocket. He spun out of that, saw some more Storm defenders running towards him, and smartly got on the ground.
It'll be 2nd down and goal from the 7 for Davila and the Rattlers, who are already on top 6-0. Trips to the left. They're going to pitch it out to Windsor. Has some blockers in front of him. He's driven into the boards at about the 4-yard line, where it'll be 3rd and goal for Arizona.
That's one thing that Coach Guy was talking about this week that he thinks has really helped their offense. They've been able to throw the football, obviously, but Benson, the fullbacks, already got 6 touchdowns rushing. They do those quick screens on the outside, make the defense cover the entire football field.
And Michael Benson has been fantastic the last couple of years for Arizona, off to a great start this season. Arizona actually leads the AFL in rushing to start the year. Haven't seen his number called yet, but this is the territory where we normally do. Davila is going to throw it over to the middle to Purify. A lot of contact, but no flag is thrown. And that's going to bring up 4th and goal.
And with 2 minutes and 40 seconds left here in the first quarter, again, there was definitely contact down in the end zone. Cortez Stubbs, number 21 for Tampa Bay, always seems to be in the middle of everything.
He sure does.
Those plays down the field. But again, the officials letting them play defense.
Which you like to see early on. And it'll be 4th and goal now for the Rattlers at the Storm 3-yard line. And they're going to run with trips to the right of Davila. Davila has some time, a lot of time. He's going to air it up, and it's caught by Purify in the back of the end zone for the touchdown. There is a flag, though. We'll see if it was Purify that pushed off or if it was Stubbs.
Pass interference, number 4. Defense. That penalty is declined. Touchdown.
So it is a touchdown for Maurice Purify, his first of the season. And it makes it a 13-0 lead for the Rattlers with 2 minutes left in the first quarter.
Give a lot of credit to that offensive line. Nick had all day to throw the football. You hear about quarterbacks going to the first, second, sometimes third read. I think Purify might have been his 6th read on that play.
And it looked like Davila just threw it to a spot, expecting Purify to just get there. Zendejas on the extra point. It's up and through. He missed his first, nails his second. So with 1:41 left here in the first quarter, Rattlers on top 13-0. We'll take a break. That's Dale Hellestray. I'm Jared Cohen. You're listening to the Rattlers and Storm on ESPN3.
Ninth man, it's contest time in the stands. It's time for the Rattlers question of the night. Here's your host, Alyssa of the Rat Pack.
Hey guys, thanks Vince. Please help us welcome our contestant tonight, Ernest. All right, so Rattlers have 3 helmets this season, black, copper, and white. Which one do you think is our Keith Brown's favorite? Now, if you answer this correctly, you win a Rattlers prize pack. What's it gonna be?
Black.
All right, he said black. We're gonna head to Rat TV and see if you're a winner.
Hey, Ninth man, my favorite color helmet is? Gotta go with the white helmet. I'm just messing with you. The black helmet.
All right, congratulations, Ernest. You've won this amazing Rattlers prize pack. And that's it for
here in the opening quarter, and the Rattlers have done everything right, picking up right where they've left off. Dale Hellestray after their first 2 games, getting it done on defense and scoring on offense. They have a 13-0 lead.
Really nice way to finish that drive off. Got down to 4th down. That's their first 4th down conversion of the season, and we've talked about that red zone down inside the 5-yard line, how difficult it is to complete passes. They found a way to get the ball in the end zone.
Zendejas to kick. And back to receive this time around is T.T. Tolliver as Gerald Young left the game after the last kickoff. And the Storm here are going to have to make some plays or else they can find themselves in a tough spot here on the road. Place where many visiting teams have had some troubles. T.T. Tolliver plays this one off the nets. Great coverage. Tolliver stumbles, just gets across the goal line and is down at the 1. Worst starting field position of the game thus far for Tampa Bay.
And that's why when you talk to Coach Guy, he'll put up with a couple missed extra points. When you can consistently get kicked like that from Zendejas, that kickoff coverage team is salivating. You see them hustling down the field and getting tackles inside the 5-yard line consistently.
And it looks like they brought in Chris McAllister for the first time in this game, his second year out of Baylor, played with San Jose last season. The pressure, a quick throw out, and it's complete, and a very much needed completion over the center of the field to Fakeon Lacey. And enough for a first down, and boy, did Tampa Bay need that play converted in the worst way.
You needed something. You needed a first down. You needed a completion without a penalty. They're able to do that. Remember, in arena football, the 13, 14 points is not that big of a deficit.
They could turn around in a hurry, and Tampa Bay is going to look to do that right away. Fakeon Lacey going to be the high motion man with trips to the right of Boltis. Quick throw to the outside. It's complete to T.T. Tolliver, driven in the boards by K.J. Morton. So consecutive completions for Boltis to get this drive going.
A little bit of time. They're going to that quick passing game, which kind of negates the pass rush of the Rattlers. That's the way I would try attack this Rattler defense, especially early in the football game. That ball's got to get out of your quarterback's hands early to take some pressure off your offensive line.
He didn't even go into a 2 or 3 step drop. He took 1 step back and fired. 2nd and 4. This will be the last play of the first quarter. In fact, they didn't get it off in time, so that'll do it for quarter number 1. Tampa Bay will still be on offense to start quarter number 2. After one quarter, 13-0 Rattlers on top of the Tampa Bay Storm. That's Dale Hellestray. I'm Jared Cohen. You're streaming Rattlers against the Storm on ESPN3.
0. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the field the AFL's hottest dancers, the Arizona Rattlers Sidewinders. The Arizona Rattlers Sidewinders, presented by EOS Fitness, Tan United, and Par Excellence Salon. Ninth man, be sure to purchase a 50.
Start for the second quarter here in downtown Phoenix, as the Arizona Rattlers on top of the Tampa Bay Storm 13-0. And it's been all Rattlers, Dale Hellestray, until the last two plays. The Tampa Bay Storm have created a little bit of momentum, completed 2 passes in a row, and are trying to get on the scoreboard.
They are, and as you pointed out, I mean, the ball's coming out of Boltus's hands before he even backs away from the center. That pass rush has no chance to get there. And you look at the first quarter stats, no sacks for the Rattlers. I tell you what, Boltus is going to need a Epsom salts bath tonight when he gets home, because he's going to be sore.
They're still feeling the brunt of that pressure, even though there's still no sacks recorded thus far. It's 2nd and 4 to start the second quarter. Boltus has to drop back a little bit more this time. Has Tolliver on the post corner route, completes it to him for a Tampa Bay Storm touchdown. And a huge play in this game for Tampa Bay to get on the board to cut this Rattlers lead in half.
This time Boltus had time to throw the football. Man-on-man route. You had T.T. Tolliver working on Bubba Chapman one-on-one down the field, put the safety in a really difficult position. Chapman, you have to try and guess because you have the receiver running at your full speed. He guessed wrong. Nice throw by Boltus.
And that post-corner route, probably the hardest route to guard in arena football, and executed perfectly there for the Tampa Bay Storm. Peterson's extra point is blocked. That's a live ball. Keith Brown picks it up, laterals it. Now there's bodies flying everywhere. Tyree Glasper ends up with it, but goes into the boards. So both teams now trade missed extra points in this game. And with 14:08 left here in the first half, it's 13-6. Arizona Rattlers on top. We'll take a short break. We'll be back. The Rattlers will take over with Nick Davila and company on offense.
This amazing group of teachers, principals, and administrators work diligently to raise the quality of public education in our community. Seating for tonight's game has been sponsored by Liberty GMC at 87th Avenue and West Bell Road in Peoria. Let's hear it for the Washington Elementary School District. Here we go, Ninth Man. It's free t-shirt time, courtesy of Southern Dunes. You know what to do. Make some noise.
Así mismo, mira, mira, mira para allá. Mira cómo se ve eso. The girl them skill out, Carnival, don't me give it up, don't me give it up, don't me give it up to our girls. 5 million and 40 naughty shorty. Baby girl, all my girls, all my girls.
So the Tampa Bay Storm get on the board for the first time with a touchdown from Jason Boltis to TT Tolliver. That's Dale Hellestray. I'm Jared Cohen here from downtown Phoenix. The Rattlers on top 13-6 and give up their first points of the game. And they clearly made adjustments, Dale, on offense that time around. Quicker throws, and Boltis has completed his last 3 throws in this game.
Well, give credit to some of that offensive line for this Storm offense. Moore, Bibbs, Osai. Much better job holding up at the point of attack.
Peterson will kick things away for the first time in this game. And that ball is away. It's going to be received by Arkeith Brown high off the net. Picks up some momentum, goes up the middle of the field. He's got some speed, some momentum, gets down past the 20-yard line of the Storm. And great field position for the Rattlers as Arkeith Brown shows that playmaking ability.
Give a lot of credit to this coaching staff for the Rattlers. They've emphasized special teams. The players are responding, and when you have your best players making plays on special teams, boy, it really makes it fun for the rest of the team.
Nick Davila and the Rattlers offense takes over 1st and 10 from the Storm 18-yard line, and he'll have 2 to the left, 1 to the right, with 13:50 left here in the first half. Now it's trips with Kerry Reed in high motion. Davila, they're going to run a screen. One-handed catch by Michael Benson, but he's chased down, well defended by the Storm. They gain about a yard on the play, but how about the big guy showing off his one-handed grab?
6 foot, 275 pounds. I bet you he got up a couple inches there. And they list him at 275. He looks like he's maybe a biscuit under 300. Nice athletic move. And it's not so much how many yards he gains on that particular play. It's that Tampa Bay defense now has to respect that.
It's the chess match. Some plays setting up other plays throughout the game, and that was definitely one of those. That was the first touch of the game for Michael Benson. He's been one of the top scorers on this team behind Rod Windsor. Davila back to throw. A quick strike to the outside to Kerry Reed, who's just short of a first down. He's dribbling out of bounds by James Harrell. So it'll be about 3rd down and 3 to go with 12:50 left in half. They'll call it actually 3rd and 2.
Nice job by Nick Davila. Again, when you give this guy time, he is going to find an open receiver. Too talented of a receiving core to give him that much time to find one.
Purify sitting this drive out. They're having Kerry Reed at receiver. He's in high motion. It'll be trips to the right of Davila with 12.5 minutes left. They pitch it out to DeAtter, and he's upended. Nice defensive play right there. 21, Cortez Stubbs, your boy, Dale. He's been everywhere so far for this Storm defense.
He has. Number 21, has just been flying all over the football field. 5'9", 180 pounds out of Concordia. Came into the game with an interception and a fumble recovery.
He's been a playmaker for this Storm defense, but still enough. No, they were just short of a first down on that play, so it'll be 4th down and less than a yard with just under 12 minutes left here in the first half. 2 to the left, 1 to the right of Davila. They're going to hand it off to Benson. He had a tough push off the start. He dives forward. He might be short of that first down. And he is. Turnover on downs for the Rattlers on offense. Big time stop for Tampa Bay, and they could tie or even maybe take the lead on this possession before we take a short break with 11:42 left here in the second quarter. That's Dale. I'm Jared. The Storm trail the Rattlers 13-6, but can tie or take the lead with the upcoming possession.
Luis Vasquez, defensive lineman, Arizona State University. My favorite sports movie of all time is Any Given Sunday. Monday through Saturday is nice, but on Sunday, it's all out.
What are you gonna do?
The reality show that I would rock is Iron Chef. My mom's baked mac and cheese is going crazy. My favorite social media is catch me on Facebook, but that's about it. One thing Rattlers fans will be surprised to know about me is I'm a sucker for jazz. Louis Armstrong, B.B. King, some of the favorites. The song that gets me pumped up for the game is AC/DC, Thunderstruck. The number one reason I'm excited to play for the Rattlers is to help this town bring home a championship and to play in front of the greatest home crowd, the ninth man. I'm Luis Vasquez. Thanks for going in the trenches.
Here we go, ninth man. Let's rock this place.
We've got 11:42 left, and the Storm really kind of turning the tide a little bit. Dale Hellestrae, a turnover on downs after their first touchdown of the game, and now they can really make things interesting as they take over on offense. Boltis back to throw, center of the field, caught, nope, knocked away at the last moment, intended for T.T. Tolliver, but guess who? Bubba Chapman getting in the way once again.
Going back to that previous possession for the Rattlers, 4th down and 1. I think most people thought foregone conclusion, hand the ball off to Benson, pick up the first down, continue the drive. Great penetration by that defensive line of the Storm. Got Benson before he got a full head of steam and was able to turn the ball over on downs.
And that's just a huge play for this defense that had no answer for the Rattlers on the first 2 possessions, but on possession number 3, get that turnover on downs. Boltis trying to make something happen here for the Storm. He fumbles the snap, now just trying to get rid of it. He airs it up and has a man. It's caught by Harrell, and he cuts back upfield. Trying one man to beat his Chapman, and he's in the end zone for 6. Touchdown, Philip Barnett, and he has a chance to tie this thing up here with 10:37 left in the first half.
Really nice play by Jason Boltis, as you said. Fumbled the snap, stumbling backwards, looked like he was just throwing the ball into the crowd. And out of nowhere, Philip Barnett, wide open, catches the ball and races to the end zone.
And an extra point pending could tie this thing up at 13 with 10:15 left in the first half. Jonathan Bain, the rookie quarterback, the holder, Craig Peterson to kick it. And just like the Rattlers, they hit the second extra point. It's good with 10:03 left here in the first half. 13-13 the score between the Rattlers and the Storm. You're streaming AFL football on ESPN3.
Man, tonight is a great night to stop by the team shop to pick up the Rattlers item of the game. These awesome Rattlers hats at the Sidewinders and Rat Pack are showing off. Summer is on its way. Stay cool throughout all the hot months and show off your Rattlers pride with any of these hats. On sale tonight in the team shop, the place to shop for all the latest and greatest in Rattlers merchandise.
How you wanna feel, baby? What you wanna know?
All right, ninth man, it's time to announce tonight's Fractured Prune Donuts Lucky Rose of the game. Stryker and the Rat Pack have hot, fresh donuts from Fractured Prune for the lucky fans seated in Section 101, row 13, and Section 208, row 5. Congratulations. And ninth man, don't forget to visit Fractured Prune Donuts tonight, located outside of Section 102 for the best tasting donuts in town.
Three left here in the first half, and the Tampa Bay Storm have answered. You mentioned how quickly a 13-point lead can go away, Dale Hellestrae, and sure enough, it's gone away.
They've made a couple of adjustments offensively, quick striking ability, defense stepping up, getting a stop. You know, you get a stop a half in arena football, and your defense is playing well, and now this Rattler team knows they're in for a football game.
Peterson set to kick, back to receive Arkeith Brown, who took it all the way to about the 17-yard line of the Storm, but the Rattlers couldn't do anything with that field position last time out. And Peterson's kick is off and away. It's going to be off the top bar. That's a live football, and the Storm recover it. Nope, knocked away. Do the Storm end up with it? That ball bounced around like a hot potato a couple different times. And I think it's ultimately the Thunder that have come down with it. Initially, Philip Barnett had it, and as he was going to the ground, he lost it.
I think that.
And they say the Rattlers ended up with it.
I think about 4 guys had an opportunity for this football. Brown got it, and he fumbled it and kind of blocked by the wall there, but ultimately the officials determined the Rattlers have the football, much to the chagrin of the Tampa Bay coaching staff.
What a phenomenal kick by Craig Peterson. It's not often that you see the ball hit the top crossbar on that truss stand, and that makes things that much more difficult because the ricochet brought the ball almost all the way out to the 15-yard line. Davila back to throw, trying to get something going again. There's pressure. He's going to have to run. Ducks down at about midfield to the original line of scrimmage. But it looks like right now, Dale, that the Storm defensive front is starting to really get some pressure on Dick Davila.
Well, they're getting some pressure up front, but there's nowhere to go with the football. And the defensive backs, and you'll see the frustration on Kevin Guy's face. I have a feeling some of the receivers may be not running the correct routes or making the correct adjustments to the defense that the Storm is playing.
So it'll be 2nd down and 10 as Davila got back to the original line of scrimmage. 2 to the right, 1 to the left. A quick throw out to Rod Windsor, who will have enough for a Rattlers first down as he crosses the 15-yard line to about the 13, and it'll be 1st and 10 Arizona.
When this Arizona offense is clicking, it makes it look so easy. That ball came out so quick. There's absolutely no way that number 4, Rick J. Hill, can get over there to cover Windsor as the defensive backs playing kind of an umbrella coverage, trying to take away the deep ball.
So 1st and 10, a fresh set with 8.5 minutes left here in the first half. Rattlers and Storm tied here at 13. Davila back to throw, has some time. Going to throw it to the end zone. It's complete to Chase DeAdder for the Rattlers touchdown, and they retake the lead.
Well, when I mentioned the receivers maybe not running the right route, that ball looked like it was initially intended for Maurice Purify. Remember, Purify working his way back into this lineup. Probably shouldn't have been right there. But, boy, the accuracy of the Latin laser. Nick Davila able to throw the ball to DeAdder and come away with the touchdown.
And DeAdder, Johnny on the spot right there to make the catch. And it's 19-13 Rattlers, and Dejas on for the extra point. Shane Boyd the hold. Zendejas 1 of 2 on extra points so far here today, and before he can kick it away, there is a flag that comes in.
Offense, 5-yard penalty. We'll replay the try.
And it's a delay of game. That'll move the ball back to the 7-yard line. So Zendejas will kick from the 14 instead. There's 7:40 left. 19-13 is the score as the Rattlers answer after the Storm tied the game up for the first time since we got things started. High snap, controlled by Boyd, and kick is good for Zendejas. So with 7:40 left here in the first half, 20-13, Rattlers back on top of the Tampa Bay Storm, and a little bit more of an aggressive offense that time around. It looks like they had some calculated routes, high percentage routes to really get the chains moving, which they didn't do the offensive possession prior.
A little bit better protection by that offensive line, and as we've talked about, you give really any quarterback in this league time to throw the football, it's difficult to play defensive back. But when you give Nick Davila time to throw the football, he is going to find a way to get the ball in the end zone.
So it's a game of adjustments, Dale, and the Tampa Bay Storms have clearly made an adjustment offensively. So now if you're the Rattlers defense, what are you changing to make up for what the Storm have done since the slow start?
Well, the interesting thing is, the initial thing is, well, they're going to the short passing game, so we're going to play tighter coverage because they're not taking time to throw the football down the field. But yet they go short, and then they do the post corner where he holds on the ball a little bit longer. So I think Tampa Bay doing a really nice job keeping Arizona's defense off balance.
It's all about that pressure for that Rattlers defense. That's what they had the first 2 possessions before the Storm answered with 2 consecutive touchdowns. And Dejas's kick is away, and the 3rd different return man now for the Storm receives it and just gets past the goal line. That's 16.
Actually, it was number
18, Cameron McGlenn.
In 96 and number 11, and just a bunch of Rattlers racing down. I mean, you talk about Demetrio Tyson. He's a big man getting down the field, 6'2", 270 pounds, running like a scat back.
And you mentioned it. It's in the outdoor game, you don't see the big boys running down on special teams like that very often. And those big guys have made some big plays here so far. So long field position again. That's a fumbled snap, and he's just going to throw it away. That time is Boltis. That's the second time in consecutive drives that has happened, although the first time it happened, it led to a touchdown.
Had a receiver standing right there on the previous possession there. Nobody. Tyree Glasper coming from his plug linebacker spot, getting pressure right up the middle.
Second down and 10, Storm from their own 3-yard line with about 6:50 left here in the first half. 20-13, Rattlers on top of the Storm. Rattlers trying to make it 3-0 here in their home opener. Quick throw to the outside. It's complete. Caught by Barnett, just shy of the first down marker. Taken down by Floyd, who just checks into the game.
Well, and Floyd just happens to be Marquise Floyd, Hall of Fame defensive back, first ballot guy when he becomes eligible. This is going to put that off for a little bit longer coming back. He had told Coach Guy, you know, if you need me, call me, I'll be there. And with the defection of Marcus Smith to the Canadian Football League for a tryout, they needed an experienced defensive back.
And he's coming in a hurry. He just reported to the team on Thursday, and 3 days later, here we are. Pressure, knocked down hard as Boltis. He just throws that one away, but Tyree Glasper was the one that provided the pressure and drove Boltis to the ground. And with 5:40 left, it's 4th and 2, Tampa Bay. Have to make a play.
Well, and you hear a boo after the play, and that's because the ball went into the stands, and these fans kind of hold each other accountable. The ball goes in the stands, you catch it, you get to keep it. Bounced off a fan and went back on the field.
Fans got to come ready to play too, not just the players. 4th and 2, Tampa Bay. 5:15 left here in the first half. They trail by 7. High motion man is Vakeon Lacey, and they throw his way. It's complete, and he's driven down across midfield to about the 17-yard line. Arkeith Brown, the tackle, and this is a kid, Vakeon Lacey, who's bounced around the Arena League to a few different teams, but everywhere he's gone, he's been a huge factor.
Really nice job there by Lacey, working one-on-one. He was a high-motion receiver. Arkeith Brown missed his jam a little bit. Lacey able to get open, running away from his quarterback. Nice throw, nice conversion.
Big first down. It was 4th and 2 before that play, so with 4:30 left in the first half, fresh set of downs for Boltis and the Storm. Lacey again, the high motion man. In the pocket, it's Boltis, and he kind of fires that one away as, again, feeling the pressure from Tyree Glasper, who didn't practice earlier this week. He was questionable coming in, but his presence is definitely felt that he's in uniform.
That defensive line doing a really nice job, and I think he also was just a little bit curious as to what Marquise Floyd was thinking over there. Floyd kind of sneaking up there a little bit, able to make a play on the football.
Second down and 10, 4 minutes left here in the first half. Boltis will have T.T. Tolliver in high motion to the left, 2 to the left, 1 to the right. Boltis has a little more time this time. It's a deflection, almost intercepted by Kerry Reed, and then almost caught by Barnett, but ultimately results in an incompletion.
Kerry Reed, one of those two-way players for this Rattler team, and plays wide receiver and plays it very well, plays the jack linebacker probably a little bit better, understands the defense, understand where guys are trying to go with the football. He's able to break up a lot of passes, deflect a lot of passes, almost came up with an interception right there.
Yeah, he's kind of old school AFL where you come in and you play about 10 different positions, a true Iron Man, and he's done that for the Rattlers for years. Another fumbled snap, and it's picked up by Glasper, and he's got some space in front of him. Crosses the 20, the 15, gets bad Boltis, and he returns it for a Rattlers defensive touchdown. Tyree Glasper makes it 26-13 Rattlers.
What a nice job. See the ball bounce out. Glasper sees it, picks it up. Eyes get big as saucers when he sees the end zone. Remember, Glasper sat out last week with an injury. Boy, you don't see that happen too often where the ball gets kicked forward like that, but nice opportunistic defense.
So a big change of events right here just before halftime. 2:30 left. Zendejas the extra point. Back up by 2 scores are the Rattlers. After they were up 2 scores, gave the lead away. Now they've bounced right back up. Zendejas extra point, no good. That's his second miss here on the night, which will make it 26-13. Rattlers on top of the Storm with 2:16 left. And man, that is a huge momentum change just before halftime, Dale Hellestray.
You know, you pick up a 4th down if you're Tampa Bay, you're moving the football and looking like you're going to be able to score and maybe put this first half on ice, and a careless turnover, not only giving the ball to Arizona, but they pick it up and score a touchdown.
And we've seen it a few times now. The center and quarterback have really had trouble with their exchange. It hasn't really hurt them yet. Until then, the first time it hurts them, it results in 6 the other way.
It's one of those things that, you know, you take for granted 99% of the time until it rears its ugly head. Remember, Boltus, you have a new quarterback in there, and him and Bibbs maybe not getting a whole lot of reps together this week, and now you're under the gun, the lights are on, you've got a good defensive line going against you, and sometimes the last thing you think about as a center is a snap.
So it's 26-13. The Rattlers on top of the Storm. We've got 2:16 left here in the first half. Zendejas will kick it away. And once again, returning the kick will be 18, Cameron McGlenn. Tampa Bay has gotten nothing going in the way of special teams in this first half. They haven't even made it across the 5-yard line on kick returns. And Zendejas' kick is away. And it's through the uprights, so it'll make it a touchback at the 5-yard line, which equals the best field position thus far for Tampa Bay, as Boltus will come back onto the field to try to get a touchdown. There's a flag down, actually, back at the 7-yard line. We'll go down to the field.
Kicking team, number 11. The kick was unreturnable, therefore the penalty is declined. The result of the play is a touchback at the 5-yard line. First down, Tampa Bay.
So it'll be 1st and 10 from the 5. And a lot can happen at the end of first.
Warning. And once that 1-minute warning hits, when you touch the out of bounds, incomplete pass, those kind of things, the clock will stop.
It will be trips to the right of Boltus, and out of nowhere comes, who was that? Was that Tyson? Demetrio Tyson just came down like a freight train and channeled his inner Dikembe. Not in my house.
I mean, that ball was knocked down, and they played it like it was a fumble, and I don't think the officials blew the whistle.
Second down.
Yeah, it was definitely an incompletion, but you're right, I didn't hear a whistle either.
That pocket just collapsing on Boltus, and it seems like this defensive front has a renewed sense of energy for the Rattlers.
And that's a good sign, because that defensive front was wreaking havoc out of the gates in this game. And there's exactly 1 minute left here in the first half. 26-13 Rattlers. Boltus back to throw. He's going to air it out. He's got T.T. Tolliver, but throws a little too far for him. And that'll stop the clock with 56 seconds left. Arkeith Brown was downfield on the coverage. Tolliver had a step, but it was a little bit overthrown.
Well, that's what's so difficult if you're Boltus. You're sitting there getting hammered the entire first half, and all of a sudden you have a little bit of time. Well, you don't know when that guy's coming at you. Throw the ball, get it out of your hands.
That's that 1 minute warning that Dale was talking about. 56 seconds left in the half. 26-13 Rattlers on top of the Storm.
All right, Knights fan, it's time for tonight's Lydian Dental Smile Cam. Show us your best Rattler smile, and you could be featured on Rat TV. The Knights man with the best smile wins a free teeth whitening from Lydian Dental.
Tricks say my name, you know who I am, I'm too hot. And my band about that money. Break it down.
And there's our winner. Congratulations, you've just scored a free teeth whitening from Lydian Dental, the official dentist of your Arizona Rattlers.
56 seconds left, and man, I'm missing they just got Marquise Floyd back into the fold. It used to be the Marquise Floyd dance cam going with the Bruno Mars music. They're gonna have to get that video back. That was a fan favorite here. He's just returned to the team. 3rd and 10, 56 seconds left. 2-possession lead for the Rattlers. There's a completion to Keon Lacey and into the first row. My favorite part of arena football is our Keith Brown, but enough for a first down for the Storm. We have a player injured down at about the goal line.
Well, you sit in the front row, it's almost like a baseball game. You better have your head on a swivel and be ready for guys flying at you, and don't leave your beer sitting up there on that shelf because it might end up in your lap.
There's no question. I wonder our Keith might have been hungry. You know, he might have saw or smelled something about that spot, and the best way he could sneak a French fry is if he goes into the first row.
Well, if it's an offensive lineman, there might be a hamburger or a hot dog gone, but I don't know if he could get up high enough to get over the fence.
There is a Tampa Bay Storm player injured. It looks to be 77, is that Isaiah Tuiasosopo? But they're going to keep him in the game. He's still a little gimpy. Tampa Bay's going to call a timeout just to kind of regroup and let Tuiasosopo get his legs under him. We've got 51 seconds left, 26-13, Rattlers on top of the Storm. And every time Boltis runs back, you know that pressure got to him early in this game because he's looking to sling that thing as soon as he can.
Well, they have the reason they took the timeout is so they can keep Tuiasosopo in the game. If there's an injury timeout, you have to come out unless you use a timeout. With it being less than a minute left, you know you still have plenty of time if you're Tampa Bay to move the ball down the field and score.
So after that completion, it'll be 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line. For Tampa Bay, Fans come to their feet. They want to stop here before halftime. The Rattlers will have the football to start the second half, and they'd like to have it up 2 scores to try to really extend their lead out of the gates to start the third quarter. Trips to the right of Boltis. Coverage is up for the Rattlers defense. High motion man is Tolliver. And they're going to air it out to Tolliver. He's got a step, but overthrows him again. Our Keith Brown there on the coverage. And Boltis upset with himself after that play. He had Tolliver downfield, but they can't connect.
You usually don't have that. Tolliver got a little separation. Needed to put a little more arc on the football. I think Tolliver would have been able to come down with that. Interesting, I'm keeping an eye on Tuiasosopo. He's working mostly against Damian Burrell, but he is noticeably limping.
Coach Guy mentioned to me earlier this week he likes to have his line up certain defensive linemen against the fish on the offensive line. He might be dialing that up right now as Boltis is crushed as he gets rid of that ball. It's incomplete, intended for Keon Lacey. Boltis got sandwiched by Burrell and Vasquez as right after he let go of it. Man, get the ice bath ready for this guy. He is just taking a beating here in the first half.
He really is. When you're a quarterback sandwich between 2 defensive linemen rushing you, and that's not the first time it's happened tonight.
Vasquez and Burrell, 2 guys that won Arena Bowls with San Jose last season on the defensive line, have come over to the Rattlers, and man, have they made their presence felt in the first 3 games now this season. 3rd and 10, 42 seconds left here in the first half. Boltis to throw high for Keon Lacey, and Bubba Chapman makes sure that one isn't corralled in by Lacey, and that'll make it 4th and 10 for the Storm.
Well, I think you're going to look at that again in film tomorrow. Lacey kind of short-armed that a little bit. Ball was a little high, but I also think he heard the footsteps of number 24, Allen Bubba Chapman.
4th and 10, the second 4th down play of this drive. for Tampa Bay. They converted the first one. We'll see if the Rattlers can hold him on this second one. It's going to be trips to the right with Vakeon Lacey in high motion. Boltis snaps, back to throw, and he is taken down for a sack. Tyree Glasper, a playmaking machine on defense here today. Turnover on downs for the Tampa Bay Storm.
Nowhere to go with the football. That pressure obviously is rattling. Boltis, Glasper pressure right up the middle. I think Glasper thought that Boltis had already thrown the football and got a piece of him and came up with the sack.
And that actually is the first sack of the game. Despite all that pressure that the Rattlers have had on the Storm all game long, that is their first converted sack of the game. And with 34 seconds left, Rattlers with a golden opportunity to go up 3 scores before the half, and they get the ball to start the second half.
Well, this is when you talk about the strategy. If you're Kevin Guy, do you run the football, see if Tampa Bay is going to use their remaining 2 timeouts? Do you try and score here quickly, knowing you have timeouts left? Always interesting to see how Coach handles this situation.
Yeah, the end of the first half, always an intriguing chess match. Davila to throw a quick out to Chase DeAdder for a gain of about 2 on the play, and since he was pushed out into the boards, that'll stop the clock with 31 seconds left.
It's always interesting to me when you're watching an arena football game. You know, the first half is just breakneck pace.
Yes.
Boom, 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 boom. And then all of a sudden, the minute warning hits, and it's like somebody slams on the brakes.
It's almost like the last minute of a basketball game when you're fouling and you're sending guys to the free throw line. It's the same thing here where you're right, it just totally hits the brakes like you say. And with 31 seconds left, this has almost been as long as the whole first half has been combined. There's another quick out. That one completes a Purify to the 5-yard line. That's going to keep the clock going. There's about 20 seconds left and counting here. We'll see if Tampa Bay is going to call a timeout. Doesn't look like they're going to, because they have 2 remaining, and now they finally do.
Now Arizona called the timeout. Okay. Kevin Guy looking across the field to see if Tampa Bay was going to use it, and they didn't. So he ended up having to use one of his. Still plenty of time, 5-yard line. The ultimate goal is you want to score with no time left on the clock and don't give the other team any opportunity.
Well, the next home game will be April 30th as the Portland Steel come to town. It'll be a 6 o'clock kickoff here in Talking Stick Resort Arena in downtown Phoenix. And as for the Rattlers, how about Nick Davila? Has 12 of 15, 109 yards and 3 touchdowns. No picks still through the first 2.5 games. Would like to keep that stretch going with 13 seconds left here in the first half.
Oh, and by the way, he had another kid today.
No, by the way. No
he
big deal.
Didn't. His wife did.
His wife did. His wife did all the work. But that's a lot on the back of your mind before you play a football game. You want to spend time with your new kid. But he's come out sharp in this game, and he's going to have trips to the left with 13 seconds left. That's Windsor in high motion. Davila's going to air it up to Purify for the touchdown. Nick Davila dials up Maurice Purify for the second time in this game, and the Rattlers open up a 32-13 lead with 8 seconds left here in the first half.
That's why Coach Guy likes those big receivers. Nobody really open, just able to loft the ball over the head of James Harrell, number 5 for Tampa Bay. Harrell's only 5'10". Maurice Purify, 6'4". You like to have those big receivers, especially down in the red zone.
Zendejas on for the extra point. He's missed 2 in this first half. And this one is good with 8 seconds left. 33-13. Rattlers are on top by 20. And they've got all the momentum here in their first home game of the season. And you got to credit a little bit Davila, because he was looking away from Purify that whole time. And at the last moment when Purify had some space, he lobbed it up to him.
Well, you got to give a lot of credit to that offensive line, because Nick did have enough time to survey the entire field, not once, but at least twice, and then come back to Purify, and that doesn't happen. That offensive line isn't giving you a lot of protection.
And you talked about it off the top, Dale. This is a new group. Granted, they're veteran guys, but this is a new group, and you can attest as well as anyone that an offensive line, it takes time to kind of get that cohesion, especially when you have an MVP quarterback that you're blocking for. But they look like they're in midseason form.
Well, a lot of that, you're talking to Connie Kawhi, the offensive line coach. He gives a lot of credit to Jordan Mudge, the center. It's his third year in the league, 320 pounds, but it's kind of assumed that leadership role, which you always like your center to have. And they've just built a lot of camaraderie on through training camp, to which we'll talk about in the second half, but a unique experience for this team, the way they had training camp this year.
Yeah, we'll definitely get into that amongst other things in the second half. 8 seconds left here in the first half. Sendejas kicks it away. Played off the net by McGee. And he's got some space this time. He runs up to midfield before he's finally taken down by Tyson. But great field position. 2 seconds left and an opportunity to strike just before halftime as Tampa Bay as McGlenn makes a nice special teams play.
Well, it's really interesting. I was watching the clock, watching the tackle. And
so was I.
I tell you what, the clock operator here stopped that immediately. You kind of hope when you're the home team that you kind of make the officials put another second or two back on the clock.
Nope, he stopped it right when he was down. And I was wondering if, when I was watching the clock, is he going to hit the deck? Because there wasn't the space there to return it. So he didn't want to run out of time before reaching the end zone. Ultimately, he's down at the Rattlers' 24-yard line, and a timeout is going to be called before they run this first play. Tampa Bay had 2 to burn, so they'll talk this over before they run this last play.
The play clock was down to about 6 seconds, so smart play on Tampa Bay's coaching staff.
Boltis, who started the game 0 for his first 6, he's now 7 of 23 for 134 yards and 2 touchdowns. The big plays have been made by Vakeon Lacey and Philip Barnett. They each have 49 yards receiving. T.T. Tolliver has also added a touchdown. But all 3 of those guys have made big plays in this game, and those will be the 3 to watch that they'll look to dial up here before on the last play of this first half.
Well, I'm going to keep a look on Moore, Bibbs, and Tuiasosopo, the offensive line for Tampa Bay. Can they keep Boltis upright?
It's going to be Vakeon Lacey in high motion. No time for Boltis. He still gets rid of it and throws it out of bounds because the pressure was just too much. And we played 2 quarters here from downtown Phoenix. The Rattlers go into the locker room at halftime up 33-13 over the Tampa Bay Storm. We'll take a short halftime break. We'll come back just before to preview the second half and give you the second half action. Here you're streaming Rattlers football and Tampa Bay Storm AFL football on ESPN3. ...26 yards and 2 big touchdowns. Craig Peterson will set to kick things away for the Tampa Bay Storms. That is off and running here to start the second half, and it'll go off the post. Arkeith Brown, tough one to play here. He's going to have to get across the goal line. He does, and is dragged down at about the 2-yard line. So a lot of field to work with for Nick Davila and company as they get started here in the third quarter.
Really impressed with the kicker, Peterson, for Tampa Bay. We saw the one hit the top of the iron on a previous kick. He's got a very strong leg, and it looks like he's a little gimpy. He's had to make a couple tackles here tonight.
Yeah, sure.
And kickers aren't used to having to do that.
But he's been as deadly a force as they've had in this game because, as you said, he's been kicking darts. He's been nailing that bar. He's done it multiple times in this game. And the Rattlers now feeling the brunt of that at their own 2-yard line to get things started here in the third quarter. 2 to the right, 1 to the left of Davila. A quick throw out to Windsor, and he's going to get some positive yards out to about the 8-yard line. Defensive back was playing pretty far off of him. Davila noticed it and just threw it really quickly out to the outside to Rod.
The one thing that'll be interesting to see if Kevin Guy gets going a little bit, they have not run the football except for on that 1 4th down situation that was not successful, and Michael Benson has put together a great start to this season.
Yeah, he has over 50 yards through 2 games, but really hasn't done much in this first half. They might dial him up here in the second half. Trips to the right for Davila. So we're off in the first minutes of this second half, and there's a completion across the 20-yard line to Rod Windsor. So consecutive catches for the product out of Western New Mexico, and it's enough for a first down.
And Rod Windsor, just a big, thick target right there in the middle of the football field, 6'2", 215 pounds. Offensive line gives Nick time to throw the football. Windsor just sits down the middle of the field, makes himself a nice big target.
And McGlenn gave Windsor a shot to the back, a shot to the kidneys. A little bit slow to get up as Windsor after that play. It'll be trips to the left with Purify in high motion. They hand it off right on cue to Michael Benson, who gets just short of midfield, gains maybe a yard.
Well, again, a lot of times you're not expecting 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 yards. You just want that defense to not be able to tee off on the offensive lineman and rush the passer every down. You're trying to keep them honest.
Trying to respect everything that the Rattlers have in their back pocket. 12:53 left here in the third quarter, 33-13. Rattlers on top, just underway here in the second half. Davila back to throw, plenty of time in the pocket, finds Rod Windsor across the 15 to the 10 before he's driven out of bounds, and it'll be first and goal, Rattlers into Storm territory.
Almost too easy for this offense when Nick has that much time to throw the football. Sitting back in that pocket, nice job by the offensive line. Windsor comes all the way across the football field. Defender not within 5 yards of him when he catches the football.
Third catch this drive for Rod Windsor. And the Rattlers in motion, threatening to score once again. Trips to the right, Davila to throw, throws it into flats to Windsor. Has one man to beat, gets to the 5-yard line before he's dragged down by a couple Storm defenders. And it'll be second and goal from the 5.
Well, that was a smart business decision by Rod Windsor. Catches the ball out in the flat, makes one guy miss, and then sees a host of white jerseys running at him. Gets down on the ground and lives to see another down.
I like that. I like a business decision.
Yes,
I like that. It's still a business at the end of the day. Got a long season ahead.
If that had been the Arena Bowl and you're down by 6, you might put your head down and try and get in the end zone.
No question. Trips to the left. Deatter in high motion. They jam him. They hand it off to Benson. He skips the defender, rolls forward just short of the end zone. It'll be down, marked at about the 1.5-yard line. But the big guy, first the one-handed grab, now he's doing a little tap dancing and little leaps just prior to the end zone, showing some athleticism out there.
Well, he got up in the air, albeit very, very shortly.
You could fit a paper under there.
You better be quick because that's 300 pounds coming down on your hand if you don't get it out of the way. But, yeah, again, you're keeping this defense honest. Wouldn't be surprised to see him get the ball again.
It'll be third and goal from the 2, just under 11 minutes left here in the third quarter. Rod Windsor, the high motion man. Davila's going to throw it. Has some time. Back of the end zone. Caught by the touchdown machine. Rod Windsor. His second touchdown of the game, and the Rattlers score to start the second half.
As I talked about coming out of halftime, the coaching staff in there, you're making minor adjustments and you're talking to your players about you do not take your foot off the gas pedal. We need to come out, put pressure on Tampa Bay. Well, you can't do anything better than this Rattler offense did right here in the first drive of the second half.
Windsor came in averaging 24 points per game for this Rattlers offense, and he's got 2 touchdowns now today. Zendejas, his extra point is good. So with 10:04 left here in the third quarter, the Rattlers have opened up a 40-13 lead. That's Dale Hellestray. I'm Jared Cohen on ESPN3.
It's time for the Marley's Wing Delivery. Please welcome the Rat Pack as they drive out a tasty treat that can't be beat. Delicious wings from Marley's. You're the winner of free dinner if you're seated in section 102, row 6, seat number 20. Congratulations and enjoy your Marley's wings.
10:04 left here in the third quarter. The Arizona Rattlers on top of the Tampa Bay Storm 40-13. Jared Cohen and Dale Hellestray here from downtown Phoenix. And the Rattlers offense was clicking. And I talked to Coach earlier this week, Dale, about Nick, because he's accomplished so much in this league, especially over the last few years. Besides not winning the championship last year, I asked Coach how he challenges Nick, and he said that he stayed in town. He's got his family out here. We talked about he had another kid today, and he really took it upon himself to invite a lot of the guys that stayed in town out to throw, out to work, and he said the ramifications of that leadership really showed this year in camp. Sendejas kicks it away after the touchdown, high off the net, played by McGlenn, and runs into one of his own defenders. Bottled up by Deatters. Deatters not letting him go anywhere. He's still on his feet. He's still on his feet. It's getting serious now. And that ball is loose. Recovered by McAllister. No, they're going to say he was down. That was one of the more bizarre special teams plays I think I've seen. At the end of all of that, it'll be 1st and 10 Storm from about the Rattlers 20-yard line.
At the 19-yard line, first down, Tampa Bay.
They're showing the replay here on the Jumbotron, and it looked like his knee was down. Kevin Guy's not going to challenge this, but you're right. Deatter was just hanging on. I thought I heard the whistle a couple times.
Yeah, so did I.
And it looked like half the Rattler team stopped, but that's why you continue to play until the officials whistle blows.
Like Deatter and McGlenn were doing the tango a little bit there, and there's a completion to Vakeon Lacey. And right there, KJ Morton, we haven't called his name yet today, one of the newbies that we talked about, tried to go for that pick six, came up short, now a big gain instead for Vakeon Lacey in the Storm.
Really nice job by Boltis. Again, ball coming out quick. That's what he feels more comfortable with. He usually ends up upright when the ball comes out quick. Threw the ball high. Morton unable to knock the ball away.
Morton, a rookie out of Baylor, said that one of the toughest positions, Kevin Guy said, is learning that secondary as a rookie, and made a mistake right there. Overthrown right there is Boltis, and Arkeith Brown went really hard into the boards, and he is in a lot of pain on the ground right now.
Well, it was one of those things. It was a non-contact injury. The receiver, number one, Tolliver, kind of goes down. They get their feet tangled up, and then Brown, a couple steps later, looks like he stepped on the goal line and tripped and fell into the dasher board.
But he pops right up, and he'll stay out there for the Rattlers. 2nd and 10 with 8:24 left here in the third quarter. It'll be trips to the left of Boltis. High motion man is Vakeon Lacey. Boltis has some time. He's going to air it out, looking for Lacey, and it's caught in the end zone for a touchdown. Vakeon Lacey hauls it in. Boltis takes a shot as he threw it. He's in pain as he gets up, but it's still an extra 6 for the Storm.
What a nice throw. Tyreek Glasper right in his face, able to throw the ball on target, leading his receiver, and answer this first drive by the Rattlers.
Vakeon Lacey's first touchdown of the game, and when he was out here with Portland last year, he had, I think, 2 or 3 touchdowns in that game. He was definitely a big impact player, and he has been tonight. That's his first for 6. Peterson to kick, Bain to hold, and it's through.
Extra point by Peterson is
so with 7:27 left here in the third quarter, 40-20, Rattlers on top of the Storm.
Official timeout. Ninth man, the fun continues after tonight's game at Marley's, the Rattlers post-game party headquarters, located just a touchdown throw away from the Talking Stick Resort Arena at 2nd Street, just north of Washington. Marley's is your official Rattlers post-game party headquarters. Your Arizona Rattlers return to Ak-Chin Indian Community Field and the Snake Pit on Saturday, April 30th, taking on the Portland Steel in a 6 p.m. kickoff. For tickets, stop by the Talking Stick Resort Arena box office, go to azrattlers.com, or call 602-514-TDTD. Arizona Rattlers football strike as one. Ninth man during every Rattlers home game. We honor those who serve and protect our great country with the Howard Air Seats for Soldiers program. Please join us tonight as we welcome Howard Air Seats for Soldiers honoree, United States Marine Corps Master Sergeant Matthew McDowell. We thank you for your service to our country, and thank you for being with us tonight, guests of Howard Air.
7:27 left here in the third quarter. The Tampa Bay Storm answer on a touchdown pass from Boltis to Lacey. Lacey's first touchdown of the game to make it a 20-point Rattlers advantage. Peterson will kick things away for the Storm. Back to receive is Arkeith Brown, and we'll check on the status of Jason Boltis, who took a shot from Tyree Glasper after he let go of that ball and was slow to get up. But he's really kind of settled in nicely in this game, made some nice throws.
He's made some really nice throws, especially when he goes back and looks at how many times he's been hit as he's let go of the football.
And they've had that ice bath waiting for him since the game started. He's taken a lot of shots. High, short kick, though, to Arkeith Brown, who has to jump to receive it. He crosses the 5-yard line before he's driven into the boards on the play by Nick Addison. And it'll be 1st and 10 Rattlers from their own 5.
Well, and if you're Tampa Bay, somehow, some way, you've got to come up with a play. Somebody's got to make a play defensively, because right now the Rattlers just very comfortable offensively.
And this offensive line of, it's been Savage and Mudge and Simons has done a nice job for the most part in this game. Tampa Bay was able to get some pressure in that first half, but for the most part, Nick Davila's had time to throw. And there he is to throw again. It's high to Purify, who comes down hard on his ankle. Addison went low as Purify was coming back to the ground. It's a little gimpy on his left ankle. But if you look at that replay, that ankle was rolled underneath of Addison as he came in for that tackle.
Always dangerous when a receiver goes up for the ball and defensive back comes in low, and you're right, that left ankle just got caught underneath there. Purify gimping around a little bit. We'll see how he comes off the ball, though, especially if this ball is going to be coming towards him.
Trips to the left. It does go towards him, and he makes the catch. Addison drives him into the boards. He tells Coach Guy he's okay, though. He wants to stay in it. He had to sit out the first 2 weeks. He's not coming out now.
Well, that's the thing. You worry about getting yourself back into shape, and that's more musculature. You're going to pull a hamstring, those kind of things when you haven't been playing football. The things you don't want to have happen is little things like that, little ankles that can nag at you for weeks on end.
The ligament damage. It's going to be 2 to the right of Davila. High motion man is Kerry Reed, who has checked into the game, and there's a flag down as that ball was snapped.
Well, I think everybody moved, but the ball didn't come up. I think that might be on Jordan Mudge, the center.
Offsides, number 93. Defense with contact. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Still first down.
I'm not so sure the Rattlers didn't get away with one there as everybody was moving. but the ball wasn't.
And the defensive guy is the one that's called for the penalty. The Rattlers will take it. That 5-yard penalty makes it 1st and 5 from midfield with 5:25 left here in the third quarter. It'll be trips to the right with Windsor in high motion along with Reed and Purify. Davila, 3-step drop, middle of the field to Windsor, complete, crosses the 15, spins away from a couple defenders. So hard to take down, finally is at the 13-yard line, and enough for a first down.
All these receivers have that innate ability to fight for extra yards, and you have to know when the time to do it is and when you don't want to do it, because if you're not going to gain any extra yards and there's 3, 4, 5 guys trying to bring you down, that's when somebody can strip the ball from you. But Windsor's so strong and so determined.
No business thoughts right there on that one.
No.
He was thinking 6 on that play. Trips to the right, Kerry Reed in high motion. Davila to throw. A lot of time in the pocket. Airs it up. Too strong. No flag thrown. Intended for Windsor. And it'll be 2nd and 10 with 4:20 left in the third.
Really good coverage down the field by Tampa Bay. Just nowhere to go with the football. Ball would have to have been absolutely perfectly thrown to complete that. Cameron McGlenn on the coverage.
So after the incompletion, it'll be 2nd and 10 from the Rattlers the Storm 14-yard line with 2 to the right. It's going to be trips right with Kerry Reed in high motion. Davila has time, steps up into the pocket, and throws it a little too high. Pass was intended for Purify. Reed was the intended receiver, and there is a flag down. It's on the opposite end of where the ball was thrown. We'll go down to the field.
Personal foul, face mask, number 23, defense. Half the distance to the goal, automatic, first down.
That's the type of penalty that'll kill you when you're down and on the road.
Well, your defense is playing pretty good. You're making this Rattler offense struggle a little bit on this drive, and then you give them a free first down and free yardage.
And Addison called for the face mask. Wasn't sure who he was guarding face up. It might have been Windsor. That's who he's been on, Purify. That's who he's been on, and he might have grabbed him at the point of attack. Windsor in high motion. Davila. It looked like it was a design screen, but a miscommunication. The pass was intended for Michael Benson, and that'll make it 2nd and goal from the 7.
I always like to watch the interaction between Coach Guy and his players, and Benson was looking at Davila saying, "Why'd you throw it out there?" And then you watch Kevin Guy getting on Benson saying, "That's where you're supposed to be." And so, again, I think if you're Coach Kevin Guy and this staff, boy, you want a little bit of a challenge because you want things that you can work on a little bit. Otherwise, your team becomes a little lackadaisical.
Or complacent. Trips to the right. 2 flags are thrown. That pass is complete to Rod Windsor. He's driven down short of the end zone, but flags paint the field yellow right as that ball was snapped. There's already been 2 penalties on this drive against Tampa Bay.
Got to have your hand on the ground if you're a defensive lineman when the ball is snapped, or we'll call that a penalty on you.
Fouls on the play. Illegal formation, number 99, defense, out of his stance. That penalty is declined. Illegal formation, number 94, defense, for out of his stance. That penalty will be enforced half the distance to the goal, still 2nd down.
So 2 guys didn't have their hands down on the play.
Yeah, and Everett Dawkins is saying, "Why on earth did you go ahead and decline mine?" And James McClinton saying, "Well, why'd you accept mine?"
At the end of the day, that goes against one guy and not both of them.
At the end of the season, when you get your grades, McClinton's going to have one on his docket, and Everett Dawkins is going to be okay.
They're going to want to get to the bottom of that. There's no question about it. They're handed off to Benson, a little sweep, and if there's one thing that Tampa Bay has done brilliant, it has been defending the run. They knew what Michael Benson had done so far this season, and they have given him no space to do anything in this game.
Jimmy Gordon, the linebacker, 6'2", 275 pounds from Buffalo, is doing a really nice job cutting that run off. Very physical at the point of attack. Really like the way he plays the game.
And it's kind of been a frustrating evening for Michael Benson compared to what he had been doing coming into this game, but he'll take that 20-point advantage over all that any day. Trips to the left of Davila. He'll throw to Windsor. Oh, he had a touchdown, a walk-in touchdown in the normal, sure hands of Rod Windsor. Thought about 6 before he corralled that ball in.
Well, and Rod's going to be the hardest one on himself. He knows it. He took his eye off the ball because he knows he was close to the end zone, and got to make sure that you have possession of the football before you start to run.
And that would have been touchdown number 3 in this game for Windsor. Instead, it's 4th and goal for the Rattlers with 1 minute left here in this third quarter. They already have 1 turnover on downs in this first half, but it was on the other end of the field. Davila up top, complete Touchdown Rattlers. Rod Windsor redeems himself one play later. And it's 46-20 Rattlers with 42 seconds left in the third.
You always like it when your quarterback has confidence in you, comes right back to you. Really nice seam route by Windsor. Able to break free from Cortez Stubbs. Davila puts the ball right on the money. This time Windsor comes down with the football and the touchdown.
Zendejas in for the extra point. He's missed 2 in this game. Shane Boyd will hold. The snap is low, controlled by Boyd, and it's converted by Zendejas. So with 8 seconds left here in the third quarter, Rattlers on top of the Tampa Bay Storm, 40-7-20.
Tampa Bay 20 official timeout. Ninth man, it's time to get out of your seat and on your feet. It's time for the Buffalo Wild Wings Chicken Dance Cam. Don't be a chicken, do the chicken dance, and you could win a great prize pack from Buffalo Wild Wings. Congratulations, there's our winner. You just won a great prize pack from Buffalo Wild Wings.
Eight seconds left here in the third quarter. It's been all Arizona Rattlers. They're on top of the Tampa Bay Storm, 47-20. Jared Cohen and Dale Hellaway. And it'll be Cameron McGlenn to receive. For the most part, Rattlers have had Tampa Bay back deep in their own territory for most field position. See if they can do that again. High kick, relatively short, and it goes through the uprights. And that's playable since McGlenn caught it. And he's moving up the field and he's got some space. He's got 2 men in front of him. Zendejas, one of them. There is a flag down, but instead McGlenn gets into the end zone for a touchdown. Did that ball come loose?
McGlenn on the return.
They're saying the ball came loose as McGlenn reached out for the touchdown, and the fumble's recovered by Chase DeAdder. A lot of things to go over here.
Well, he got a flag on the field.
That's the one.
It went through the slack net.
And that's supposed to be a
dead
touchback. But then McGlenn returns it all the way and reaches out for a touchdown. It looks like it might have crossed the plane, but a player knocked it loose and it was recovered by the Rattlers. This might take a while. Meanwhile, time has expired in this third quarter. That was the last play before we start the fourth, but there's a lot to figure out before we get into the fourth quarter. We'll go down to the field.
Offsides, number 19 of the kicking team. That penalty will be enforced half the distance to the goal where the Tampa Bay ball carrier lost possession. First down, Tampa Bay.
Interesting.
Well, and we can see here in the stadium, Lawrence Samuels, the head coach, had his red challenge flag out. He was ready to challenge something. And well, I'm not going to challenge it if we're inside the 5-yard line, and we have the ball.
I'll put that back in my pocket. So instead, it'll be first and goal for Tampa Bay as we get ready for the fourth quarter. After 3, it's 47-20. Rattlers on top of the Storm. That's Dale Hellistray. I'm Jared Cohen. You're listening to Arena League Football on ESPN3.
The Arizona Rattlers Sidewinders, presented by Dan United, Par Excellence Salon, and EOS Fitness.
Turn down for what? Turn down for what? Turn down for what?
Welcome to the fourth and final period of play. It's time to get on your feet and bring the noise.
We don't need regular noise. We need fourth quarter noise. Let's hear it, Snake Pit.
Tampa Bay is challenging the rolling on the field of a fumble. They're challenging that the ball carry across the goal line before he fumbled. The previous play is under further review.
So as we start the fourth quarter, Jared Cohen and Dale Hellestray here from downtown Phoenix, how that last quarter ended. Zendejas kicked it away after that Rattlers touchdown to Rod Windsor, his third of the game. The ball goes through the uprights, which is normally a touchback, but since it didn't play the net and it was caught by McGlenn, he then took it all the way to the other end of the field, and it looked like the ball crossed the plane before it was knocked loose and recovered by the Rattlers. Now at the end of the quarter, the officials ruled the offside penalty against the Rattlers and credited the Storm with the ball first and goal, half the distance from where he dropped the ball, which is basically inside the one. But now the Storm, to start the fourth quarter, are challenging that McGlennon was able to cross the pylon, and instead it's a touchdown instead of them having to run a play from the half-yard line. I run out of breath.
Which kind of shows you how much confidence they have in their offense.
Yeah.
I think most teams would just say, give us the ball on the 1 yard line, we're going to go ahead and score anyway.
So that's what we're trying to figure out. It's the difference between Cameron McGlenn getting in the end zone for a kick return touchdown or the Storm having the ball first and goal, really. But the whole play...
Rolling on the field stands. It was a fumble before he crossed the goal line. However, since Arizona was offsides on the kickoff, it'll be Tampa Bay's ball, first and goal, at the half-yard line. Tampa Bay will be charged with the first time out of the half and has one challenge remaining for the game.
It's very bizarre because the Rattlers recovered that fumble, but since it's a penalty... But that's the thing right there. You know, it's saying...
I still go back to what we're seeing here.
That should have been a touchback.
It goes into the slack net. That's a dead ball as soon as it does that. And not only does that, but it hits the Casino Arizona facade on its way up. And why that's not a dead ball right there, I don't know.
And that's what Kevin Guy just threw out the challenge flag. He just threw out a challenge flag saying that that should have been a dead ball. Exactly what you're saying. And we're going to have another review here before we start the fourth quarter. And it clearly went through and hit, like we're looking at the replay again here. It clearly goes through that upright. It bounces up, bounces something in the building that isn't even part of the playing field. And McGlenn then takes it almost all the way back for a touchdown. So what it should be is offsides on the Rattlers, so 5 yards, so it should be on the 10-yard line after the offsides.
Maybe that's not challengeable per Arena Football League rules. To me, you have the head official, and that's Scott Campbell. He's standing right there. Why that whistle didn't blow, I don't know. See the official down underneath the goalpost there talking to the people saying, I know you saw it.
So instead, first and goal from the half-yard line for Tampa Bay, and Boltus is just going to bolt his way through for the Tampa Bay touchdown. So after all that, a quarterback keeper and a touchdown for the Tampa Bay Storm with 14:50 left here in the fourth quarter.
Out of all that, the one move I don't understand is Lawrence Samuels chancing losing a timeout by challenging that play. I could have fully understood it if they would have given the ball to Arizona, but they had the ball on the 1 yard line.
maybe Cameron McGlenn got in his ear and said, hey, coach, this could be a kick return for a touchdown. This could get my kick return bonus. Extra point is good for Peterson.
Extra point from Peterson is good.
So with 14:21 left here in the fourth quarter, 47-27, Rattlers on top of the Tampa Bay Storm.
Timeout. Rattlers fans, it's time for tonight's Casino Arizona Throw for the Dough contest. Please welcome tonight's contestant, Derek. There are 4 locations on the field you can throw from, each representing a different cash value ranging from $100 to $7,777. Throw a football from one of those locations and hit the Casino Arizona target in the north end zone, and you win that cash. So, Derek, where are you going to throw from? All right, Derek is going to throw from the north end 10-yard line for $100 in dough. Let's cheer him on. It's good. Nicely done, Derek. You win $100, and thank you for playing tonight's Casino Arizona Throw for the Dough contest.
We've got 14:21 left here in the fourth and final quarter. The Storm have answered back with a touchdown, but still trail by 20, 47-27. Jared Cohen, Dale Hellestray from downtown Phoenix.
You wonder when the onside kicks will start from Tampa Bay. Usually you see a couple of those even in close games in Arena Football League.
And it's probably getting to be the point where they'll have to pull out some stops because the Rattlers offense has scored in all but one possession that they've had the ball today. Peterson will kick it off, Arkeith Brown to receive. And we'll see if it goes through the uprights, if they'll give the Rattlers a chance to return one of those, since we're not noticing that here today. Peterson, who's been kicking darts all game long, he's been hitting posts. He does it yet again. Arkeith Brown played off the nets. Will go up the middle of the field, and he's down at the 10-yard line, where Davila and the offense will take over 1st and 10. And, we talked about this before the game, Dale. This team already looks like they're in mid-season form and are off to a way hotter start than they did last year out of the break. And they credit a lot to it with how they conducted training camp this year.
Well, they moved their training camp to the Auction Casino, and boy, everybody praised the facilities, from the fields to the meeting rooms, stayed at the hotel, the food, everything was first class. Connie Kawai, the offensive line coach, said it was as close to an NFL training camp vibe as he's been around in arena football. He said the fields were better than any NFL fields that he had played on. And they all credit that because they stayed together. Normal training camp, they held at their packed facility, they're done at 3. And everybody goes their own separate way. Well, here, they got a break about 3, then they came back for dinner, and they had meetings in the evening, they had movies, they had game nights, they had all sorts of things that went on that drew this team closer together.
Davila over the middle of the field, complete to Windsor, across midfield, past the 20 to about the 18-yard line into Storm territory, 1st and 10. And, it really shows because the way, they dominated the first 2 games, putting up 74.5 points and only giving up 28 combined. And then here today with the 20-point advantage, they just look like they have a little bit more of a peppiness in their step, a little bit more swagger than the other teams they've faced thus far.
The only thing you wonder if you're Coach Guy and his staff is how good were those 2 teams that we beat?
Sure.
Are we really this good, or is it a combination of we're pretty good and they're not very good, or somewhere in between?
High motion man is Purify. They're going to dump it off to Benson. He's got some space now. Beats a defender, running down the sideline, and he's down at about the 5-yard line. Michael Benson's first big play of the night. And I bet that one felt good for him.
You talk about some business decisions being made. A couple Tampa Bay defensive backs came up and saw 300 pounds coming right at them and kind of skirted to the side and didn't want to make full contact, and not that I can say that I blame him.
Yeah, when you got a bowling ball like Michael Benson coming at you, you could clear away a little bit as long as he doesn't get in the end zone. Davila, they're going to dump it again to Benson. And he gets a block. Now he's going to try to pile forward. He's down at about the half-yard line. It'll be 2nd and goal.
Well, that was a really nice job on Davila's part and Benson's part, because the screen was initially covered, and then Benson kind of slid over to his right a little bit. Nick was patient, didn't just throw the ball, found him in between a couple big arms and able to complete the pass.
It'll be 2nd and goal from the 1, 11:30 left in this one. 47-27, Rattlers on top of the Storm, and they're looking to extend that lead here on this drive. Rod Windsor in high motion with trips. They're going to hand it off to Windsor, and he's bowled over. Great push by the defensive line. A little skirmish breaks out between the Rattlers and the Storm, but there's a flag on the play. Not very often Windsor dialed up for a handoff. Coach Guy getting in the ear of someone. Might be someone on the offensive line. But there is a penalty on the play. We'll go down to the field.
Offsides, number 18, defense. That penalty being forced half the distance to the goal, still 2nd down.
It seems like there's been a theme here, Dale. When it seems like things aren't going well for the Rattlers, it ultimately still ends up a penalty on Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay doing the proverbial shooting themselves in the foot, because, they played some really good run defense, and then you also have to figure, number 18's Cameron McGlenn. He's not even close to the football.
Davila had Deatter wide open in the end zone, and he overthrew him. Goes through Deatter's hands. Davila getting in the ear of as the lead official.
Well, he's getting on Scott Campbell. Kevin Guy's yelling at one of his players. Everybody's a little bit upset when things don't work out.
Demanding perfection. Instead, it'll be 3rd and goal from the 1 with 10:35 left here in the 4th. The ball's so close to the end zone, the nose is just off of it. Purifying high motion, it's Davila, they dial up, and he'll push forward, and that ball's loose. It was fumbled. The ball was fumbled by Davila, recovered by the Tampa Bay Storm.
And Kevin is beside himself, wondering how, from where that ball was, could the football not have broken the plane of the end zone.
And it's because Davila had the ball down by his waist, and as he was brought to the ground, it was picked up by a Storm defender and takes it over to the 7-yard line. So a big break right there for the Tampa Bay Storm to get it under 20 points, an opportunity to do so with 10 minutes left in this game.
I tell you what, their run defense has been lights out tonight, the Storms.
And a challenge flag thrown up by Kevin Guy just before the ball is snapped. And it's really hard to tell when that ball comes out based on this angle that we're looking at. The ball definitely didn't cross the pylon because Davila has the ball stuck at about his waist.
Well, and the one thing that Arizona's going to have working against them is there's no camera on the goal line to be able to see
Well, we'll see what the officials decide on. I agree with Dale. Not a lot here to overturn it.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. Arizona will be charged their first timeout of the half. 30-second timeout. Arizona has one challenge remaining for the game.
And one little tidbit there, the difference between stands to overturn it or hold it up.
Interesting stuff. Good to know. Bolt is going to throw it up top. It's overthrown, throws it into the crowd. Incomplete. It'll be second down, intended for Barnett.
Well, the thing is, this game seems like Arizona has about a 40-point lead. Like everybody's just kind of relaxing and chilling and all that. But they have a 20-point lead, and if Tampa Bay were to score here, you can score 14 points in 30 seconds in arena football.
And we saw in the first half 13 points get erased in less than 2 minutes, it felt like. So this thing could turn around in a hurry. The Rattlers have to bear down. There's a completion across the middle on a little post route to Barnett. Gets to the 20-yard line. And I've been impressed with Boltis because it's been hard to trust that there's going to be time for you to throw in this game the way it's gone. Yet he is stuck in there, and he's thrown some darts here, especially in the second half.
Well, I tell people, because they go, well, he had time on that play. I said, okay, you stand with your back to me. Let me get a running start at you. I'm going to hit you 2 straight times. I may or may not hit you the third time. But, hey, you forget about me coming up from behind you. That's really difficult to do.
It's hard to have a short memory in this game. But it's good to if you can. Boltis back to throw, 3-step drop. He's going to air it out, and Floyd and Tolliver got tangled up. So the ball goes to no one, and T.T. Tolliver is a little gimpy after that play. So is Boltis.
I think you got to give this Tampa Bay team some credit. We've seen T.T. Tolliver limping around in the first half. He's still out there battling. We saw the hits that Boltis has taken all day long. Tuiasosopo, number 77, he's on a bad ankle. He's fighting through. You got to give this Tampa Bay team credit for continuing to fight.
High motion man is Barnett. They're looking his way, a little post corner route. There's Bubba Chapman once again making a play. And man, what can you say about Bubba Chapman in this game with the pass breakups? He's been fantastic.
Ball hung up just a little bit too long. Boltis having to throw off his back foot. Ball took too long to get there, and with Bubba Chapman's speed and closing ability, able to get a hand in there and knock it down.
I mean, Coach Guy told me earlier this week that with Jeremy Kellum, former first-team All-AFL safety, not reporting to camp, it put them in a bind, but Chapman hasn't missed a beat, and he actually said that there's things they can do with their defense that they weren't able to do with Kellum with his speed and athleticism, and it showed here today. Boltis, flushed out of the pocket, is just going to have to throw it away on 3rd and 10. He's driven into the ground once again, and with 6:50 left, it's 4th and 10 for the Tampa Bay Storm.
Damian Burrell there, such great closing speed. Burrell and Vasquez, both pretty big guys. Vasquez 270 pounds, Burrell almost 300, but they have great quickness, closing speed. Nice job by Burrell making Boltis throw that football.
And they sub in Chris McAllister as well, who's in there on this possession, who has a lot of athleticism as well. Boltis' pass is incomplete, but 2 flags come down at the very end. We'll see the penalty. I'm thinking it might have been holding on Tampa Bay. And if it is, Coach Guy will decline it.
Number 60, offense. That penalty is declined. Arizona will take over on down, first down.
So a turnover on downs for Tampa Bay with 6:17 left. And it'll be 1st and 10 Rattlers on the Storm 20-yard line. And they lead it 47-27, 6:17 left.
Nice job by the Rattler defense stepping up just when the game might have been able to get back in the hands of the Tampa Bay Storm. The defense comes up with a stop.
And now the Rattlers with a chance to try to put this away. Davila to throw, and the route is undercut. Nice play by Addison, pass intended for Purify. Good coverage right there for the Storm.
Nick Davila just looking at Purify the entire time. kind of inviting defensive backs to jump those routes. Ball took a little bit longer than I think they expected to get out.
Makes it 2nd and 10 from the Storm 20, 5:37 left in this game. Rattlers trying to go 3-0. Storm tried to prevent from being winless in 3 games. Davila throwing downfield. Chase DeAdder had it in his fingertips, but just too low. Can't bring it in, and it'll be 3rd and 10.
Ball was a little low and away, but I think if you talk to Chase DeAdder after the game, he's going to say, no, that's one I have to be able to catch. The ball was catchable, although it would have been a difficult catch.
And the Rattlers have had a couple drops in the end zone here today. DeAdder's had had 2 of them. Windsor had 1. And instead, it's 3rd and 10. Just under 5 minutes left now here in this game. 47-27 Rattlers. Davila to throw. 2 straight incompletions. 3rd time's the charm. Connects with Windsor down at the 5-yard line, and that'll move the chains. 1st and goal Rattlers with 4:40 left.
Very calm and cool in the pocket. We talk about the big targets that the Rattler wide receivers present for their quarterback, but whenever Nick can take his drop, step into his throws, it's going to be very difficult to defend against this Rattler offense.
1st and goal Rattlers, 4:15 left. Trips to the left. Windsor in high motion. Davila, 5-step drop. Back of the end zone. It's Rod Windsor again for the touchdown. His 4th of the game. And the Rattlers take a 53-27 lead with under 4 minutes left.
Love when receivers go up and catch the ball at its highest point with their hands rather than waiting for it to come into their body. Very difficult for defenders to make plays. Rod Windsor congratulating the crowd after the touchdown catch.
Alex Zendejas in for the extra point. Rod Windsor, 4 touchdowns in the game. High snap, but brought down, and Zendejas kicks it through. 54-27, 3:28 left. And it's been all Rattlers in this one. That's Dale Hellestray. I'm Jared Cohen. You're listening to Arena League Football on ESPN3.
Hey, Ninth Man. Time to announce the winning numbers of the 50-50 raffle. Good luck.
You're the winner of $3,132 if you've got ticket number I21385. To claim your prize, please report now to the guest relations desk outside section 117. All right, Ninth Man, it's free t-shirt time for the best fans in arena football. Compliments of Octane Ultra Star Entertainment. Make some noise!
Like you the one drinking that gossip.com. Now I gotta work for your tongue. How many Rolling Stones you want? Yeah, I got a brand new spirit. Speaking and it's done. Woke up on the side of the bed like I won. Talk like a winner with chest to that sun. G5 to the US to Taiwan.
Hey, Ninth Man, it's time to rise for your Rattlers.
We've got 3:28 left here in the 4th quarter. 54-27 Rattlers on top of the Tampa Bay Storm. That's Dale Hellestray. I'm Jared Cohen. And Dale, Rod Windsor came into the game averaging 24 points per game. And tonight, contributing 24 points to the Arizona Rattlers offense. I'd say that's pretty consistent.
Well, he makes it look so easy. Yeah, such a great route runner, very smooth. We've seen him go up and get balls. We've seen him fight for extra yardage. We've seen him know when to get down. Just a very savvy, smart, veteran receiver that the Rattlers are very happy to have on their team.
13 catches, 141 yards, and those 4 touchdowns for Rod Windsor as the kick is away from Zendejas, played off the nets by McGlenn. He's got a blocker in front of him and now some speed. He's running down the sidelines across midfield. He uses a stiff arm on Zendejas and then driven out of bounds. Kicker on the wrong side of that one.
Well, and I'm not so sure, pumping your chest and acting like you're the tough guy because you ran over the kicker, but it was a nice return and gives Zendejas credit for at least being a speed bump and slowing him down.
If not for that, he might have been in the end zone. So we'll take credit for it. 13-12 left in this fourth quarter. Tampa Bay will have one of their best field position starts of the game, which is at the Rattlers' 16-yard line, 1st and 10. Be 2 to the left, 1 to the right for Boltis. Back to throw. Going to throw it out quick to Barnett. Crosses the 10-yard line and driven out of bounds. And that was Marquise Floyd that got in the way.
And Marquise
welcome back.
He's saying, oh yeah, I'm not running around in the park in shorts and playing flag football. There's some contact to be made out here. But tell you what, a nice start for Marquise to come in and help this team out, losing the 2 defensive backs that they lost and stepping in for his old squad.
And that was a pretty hot-button topic for Coach Guy and the Rattlers this week. Marcus Smith leaves the team. Marquise Floyd comes in. That ball's deflected and intercepted by Kerry Reed. Kerry Reed's got some space, gets a blocker in front of him, and he'll walk in for the Rattlers. Pick 6 with 2 minutes left here in the fourth quarter.
We talked in the first quarter that it's not necessarily the sacks that Coach Guy wants the pressures, wants the tip balls. That's when good things can happen for your defense. Kerry Reed with Maurice Purify back. Kerry Reed can play that jack linebacker a lot more, and he is so good at that position. Great instincts, great hands, understands what other offenses are trying to do. Right place, right time, scores a touchdown.
And I believe that was Damian Burrell that knocked the ball up in the air and then had the touchdown sealing block that drove Jason Boltis into the ground once again for Kerry Reed to get in for the easy touchdown. We're at a minute left, 60-27. Zendejas in for the extra point. It's no good, off to the left. But nonetheless, 60-27 with 1:02 to go. We'll take one last break before we wrap things up here in downtown Phoenix. I'm Jared Cohen. That's Dale Hellestray. You're streaming AFL football on ESPN3.
Rattlers fans, be sure to check out the Fiesta Bowl Rugby and Balloon Classic presented by Mercedes-Benz of Scottsdale, Saturday, April 23rd at Scottsdale Stadium. This is one of the premier rugby events as the Arizona State Sun Devils take on the Mexican national team, followed by a hot air balloon show featuring the world-famous Yoda and Darth Vader balloons. For more information, log on to therugbybowl.com. Ninth man, it's time to pump things up. It's time for the Fist Pump Camp.
1:02 left here in the fourth quarter. The Rattlers have blown this thing open here in the final moments with the touchdown to Rod Windsor and then the pick six for Kerry Reed to make it 60-27 with a minute left. That's Dale Hellestray. I'm Jared Cohen here from downtown Phoenix. The Rattlers will go to 3-0 on the season after a minute 2 goes by. They're on the road again after starting the season. First 2 weeks on the road as Zendejas' kick is away, played off the net by McGlenn. And my goodness, who was that came in and just shoved the Tampa Bay blocker into McGlenn, and McGlenn had nowhere to go.
That was Tyson again, number 96.
Shoves T.T. Tolliver into McGlenn.
You got to realize Demetrio Tyson, 6'2", 270 pounds, looks bigger than that.
And he's running with a full steam
My
downhill.
Goodness gracious. But to get back real quick to the defensive back situation, Coach Guy is not against Canadian football, the Canadian Football League. What he doesn't understand is the money that's paid is $52,000. People say, well, you can make more in Canada. He said, that's not the truth. You get taxed up there, then you get taxed again down here. You have to pay for your housing. You have to pay for your food. All that is taken care of when you're an Arena Football League player. And these guys weren't going to be with a team. They were leaving to go try out. And one of them got hurt. And
now he's not playing for anyone.
And the Arena League has to put you on suspension, so if you get hurt, they're not responsible. Canadian Football League hadn't signed into a contract yet, so for a tryout, he left the chance of winning a championship here in Arizona for a tryout. And Coach Guy wanted me to emphasize the fact that, hey, if it's a National Football League, go. You go. That's everybody's dream. That's what we want for our players. We encourage that. But he just was put out a little bit because, remember, it was for a tryout, not for an actual roster spot.
And Coach Guy even told me this week with guys and putting out good film on special teams to show teams at the NFL. Like, he wants that. He wants his guys because he knows they're not going to be a first or second round draft pick. They're the type of guys that are towards the end of the roster. If they're going to make the team, it's because of what they can do on special teams. So that's why he stresses special teams so much on his team, so he could put that on film with his team for their opportunity for the NFL. So he's all for that. But I agree with what you're saying. For a tryout, that's tough. That first down play incomplete from Boltis. It will be 2nd down and 10 from their own 3-yard line. 50 seconds left. Boltis to throw again. Miscommunication, just throws that one into the boards. Intended for Vakeon Lacey. And that man right there has had a monster game. Burrell.
Kerry Reed's done a tremendous job. I mean, again, you look at the point total, 27 points. This defense came into the game averaging giving up 28 points.
And Tampa Bay will call a timeout before this 3rd down conversion. 2 straight plays, they've had some miscommunication. The Rattlers, as mentioned, will be on the road next week. They travel to Jacksonville. They're 3 of their first 4 games on the road. They play the Jacksonville Sharks. And then they'll be back home on the 30th to play against the Portland Steel at 6 o'clock. The Tampa Bay Storm get a bye week next week. They'll take some time off, try to regroup after an 0-3 start, and then they too play Jacksonville at home. That's a 2 o'clock start on May 1st. But a tough start for Tampa Bay, a great start for the Rattlers, and despite having 3 road games out of the first 4, if you can get through those 4-0, you're sitting pretty going into the summer months. 47 seconds left, 3rd down and 10 for Boltis and the Storm, and he's just going to run forward.
Boltis on the keeper.
And that's pretty much them conceding the game because you can't take a knee in the AFL. And
now you lose yardage, you take a knee, and the clock in the last minute will stop. And kind of interesting. I would have thought the officials would have held up here on the play clock, but they are going to reset it. Smart on their part, and that means the game will be over with.
And that'll run it down. 15 seconds left. 60-27 the score. As the two teams will meet, and the Rattlers will move to 3-0 on the season after a very impressive performance on both sides of the football here today. Boom! Final score from downtown Phoenix. The Arizona Rattlers knock off the Tampa Bay Storm 60-27 to move to 3-0 on the season. Tampa Bay falls to 0-3 on the year. And we'll go over a few stats, but before that, Dale Hellestray, let's get your overall reaction from what you saw here tonight from the Rattlers as they keep it perfect so far in 2016.
Really nice job. Came out and did what I think they expected to do. I thought coming in this game, this is a perfect trap game. You've got a team in Tampa Bay who has not won a game. Rattlers steamrolled their first two opponents, your first home game. Maybe get a little lackadaisical. Thought they came out, took care of business, continued on that roll, and I think at the end of the day they came out healthy. And I think that you're going to expect big things from this football team.
Nick Davila finished 28 of 37, 248 yards, and 7 touchdowns. Rod Windsor, the leading receiver, 13 catches, 141 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Maurice Purify in his first game back as a Rattler. At home, 7 catches, 44 yards, 2 touchdowns. And Chase DeAdder added a touchdown himself. Jason Boltis for Tampa Bay, 11 of 37, 186 yards, and 3 touchdowns. He also had an interception. Let's go down to the field. Vince Morales with Coach Guy.
3 straight games, you're holding opponents 28 or under. You got to feel good about the defense right now, Coach.
Yeah, our defense is playing outstanding. It's a great team effort. A little sloppy on offense tonight. We inserted some new guys. We just got to get our chemistry down, but we'll keep working this week and get after it.
You held Boltis, I think, under 30% completions, which is pretty rare in arena football. Can you just speak about the pass rush and the way it's blended with the secondary so far?
Well, it's pressure pick, cover sack. They're playing as a unit out there. And, we're doing a pretty good job of taking away the check downs and letting our pass rush get to work. And, they're doing it as a team. So I'm pretty pleased.